All right, what's going on, family? What's going on? Just another real talk video for the keyboard players and those who asked me about this video about, the time and all the struggle and putting in work after work after work. I want to title this video because it's very near deep to my heart. I want to title this, All You Need Is That One Who Believes in You, who really believes in you and they can see what others can't. I have to say this about the church building also. It kept me out of a lot of trouble. It kept me out of a whole lot of trouble because I spent so much time in my home church growing up. And I have to give a shout out, other than Mama JT and Papa JT, you hear me talk about Mr. Gregory Lynn Clark also and others, but my Uncle Jerry. Uncle Jerry believed in me when a whole lot of others didn't. Uncle Jerry was the one in the family that always let me go down there to the church. Let me just make a long story short. Uncle Jerry used to live in a fellowship hall that was a part of the church. So I would go down there pretty much every day. And I know I got on his nerves, but he never once complained and he never once turned me down. I would go down there constantly, every day. Let me get the keys to the church. Because he always believed in me, and he always said, nephew, you're going to be great. Because see, I remember when my Uncle Jimmy kicked me off the organ. Cut that organ off before I bust your bricks. Uncle Jimmy would kick us off the organ, but Uncle Jerry would say, let him have it. I'm going to say it like him. He going to be great. Let him play the thing. Let him play it. He never once turned me down. And I would stay down there endless hours, young man, in there on the organ, on the piano. Organ, back to the piano, back to the piano, back on the organ. I didn't go to school. Y'all know that. The Holy Spirit was my school and my teacher. Teach Holy Spirit. Even in this video, teach Holy Spirit. So my uncle had a drug problem. This story is man. It was more than just music. And I used to try to keep my uncle off the streets. Oh, come on in here and practice with me. Now I got to go do my thing. And I knew what he was doing. He was hooked on drugs real bad. But he would always let me in the church. I tried to pull him off the streets by head. Hey, man, come spend some hours with your nephew. But he always showed up Sunday with his guitar. So I would stay in the church by myself. That's why I say the building kept me out of the streets a lot of times. And he never once turned his back on me. When we used to go on to the 3:30 service, we would ride in his van. But Unc couldn't read, never could read. And he drove. He couldn't read signs and stuff. He knew the notes on his bass, but it was more of a fellowship than music. I love my Unc, and I used to try to help him get out there like the books, man. He would go to rehab, get out, go back to the drugs, and it was killing him. But he loved drugs and he loved women, just to be honest. And if he was alive right now, he would tell this story for me. And I thought about all of my uncles and see music on my daddy's side of the family. Man, everybody plays something. Mama, Uncle Canary, everybody played drum, sing a little bit here and there. And it was just, and my brothers, it's in all four of us. But when Uncle Jerry passed away in 2012, all I can remember is the good times that we had. And he would say, nephew, don't you get caught in these streets. He always smiled when he talked. Even when he was mad, he kept a smile on his face. Don't let the streets kill you like it's doing me. That brought tears to my eyes a lot of times because I say, you need deliverance. The rehab ain't doing nothing. But I know because I get out and do the same thing. And it was killing him on the inside. It was killing him physically, and it was killing him spiritually. See, this is bigger than talking about the piano, that piano behind me. Because, see, and that's just a picture, y'all. It's just a picture. But he saw something in me when he would just let me go in that church. He could have easily killed me. I said, not today, nephew. You're getting on my nerve. I don't feel like unlocking the door. So he just started giving me the key and just say, bring my key back when you get done. I'm gone. And it'd be hours before I leave. So that's why I got on the level I got on. It wasn't going to no school. It was going down to that 6927, if I'm not mistaken, Roper Street. Noah Park Missionary Baptist Church is where I got all my training. Then me and McGregor, see, not only was me and Greg, we would go to rehearsal and be in rehearsal before rehearsal, but then after rehearsal, me and Greg spent endless hours together. So he drilled me. He's a hell of a lead guitar player. Oh man, back then you ain't finna miss Greg on nothing. Greg he would teach me the keys because he could also play the keys, and I have to give a shout out to Albert Jackson also. But I met Albert long down the line after Greg, and I grew up in Greg and them house. That's why when Mama Clark just passed this past Saturday, that man, I can't do nothing but think about that house and them bars and Mama, man. That's where I got my training. The band. I was a little old bitty fart. I could hear the band halfway down the street. I'm going down to the Clark's house. But that kept me out of trouble, a lot of trouble. Because music had a hold on me that if it came down to this and that or the game or whatever, it's gonna be, I'm gonna go on this piano. I'm gonna go play this organ. So to answer your question, Big G, no, man, what I did when I went to church, I would spend maybe 2 or 3 hours on the keyboard, and then the organ was right beside the keyboard. And back then we had an old A3. You don't even see them anymore. I know one church that still got an A3 right now. And the A3, man, it was a little bit similar to the B3. It had the percussions on there. If you remember them old A3s, you don't see too many people with A3s no more. Matter of fact, them Leslie's back in the day, a lot of lead guitar players would hook hook their stuff up to that back in the day. A3, excuse me. But that time when I would get on the organ, first thing I would do was practice my left hand. Chord with my left because I'm right-handed. So if you chord with your left, you can improvise with your right. So that was my thing. And learning the foot pedals was the easiest thing. But my thing was spending time with those drawboards, the sounds, learning what each drawboard do. And I tried my best to master it, as much as I can. I'm talking about endless hours. Then I go home. Endless hours. Then that's why when I came on, I didn't know nothing about YouTube. But I said, what is this YouTube thing? Man, if I would have had this growing up, boy, I'd be cold. I'd be way colder than I ever thought about being right about now. Because, man, there's some dynamic brothers and sisters on YouTube pouring out their heart, man. That's what made me come on YouTube, because I learned the hard way. I grew up in a time where brothers and sisters, man, they'll cover up their hands. They wouldn't show you how to do nothing except for a couple of people. That's why I thank the Most High for Greg, because Greg never was. I used to call them stingy musicians. They had like they made up the card themselves, and they got it from somebody else. So I said, man, if I get great, I'll teach everybody I know for free everything I know. I didn't want nobody to struggle like I did. That's why I came on YouTube also. But this video is more about he believed in me. Papa JT always believed in me. My mom believed in me. My brothers believed in me. But then I had people that tell me, you ain't going to learn that piano. You can't learn it. Your hand's too small. You'll never get it. And when you tell me I can't do something, that's motivation. Telling me can't is like, if it's something I really want to do, ain't nothing going to stop me. I don't care what nobody say. I'm going to keep pushing. So I remember my old partner years ago, man, used to be with Al, and I called him Big Larry. Man, he told me something it never hit me hard to the way he said it. He said, let me tell you something. You do anything for 6 months. He said, even when we ain't talking about music, he said, do it for 6 months straight and nonstop and watch how great you'll be at it. And I remember him saying that, man, I started learning them keys, man. I was already learning, but I started learning that number system and teaching, people here now and then, and teaching everybody what I learned, earn sharp as earn. Get around this person that know more than me. Man, 6 months turned into, I don't know how long, up to now, it's still going. It saddens my heart a lot of time because my left hand, I've been playing with one hand for 10 years now because I had a stroke in 2016. Most of y'all know that, but even with that still didn't stop me. And I just, every time I think about my Uncle Jerry, I said, when you get that, I don't care who's watching, whatever it is, you in your life, you know somebody that sees something in you spiritually that other people can't see. And that's the ones you will never forget, them telling you something when you was little. They didn't turn their back on you. They spoke blessings in your life. And when others told you to stop, they said, keep going. And that's how my Uncle Jerry always did me. I remember when I had to make a decision to leave my home church back in 1998. I left my home church in 1998. How many years ago was that? And I went to St. John Missionary Baptist Church to help Reverend Stromeyer, may the Most High rest his soul. And my Uncle Jerry always stood up for me when other family members was mad. And I started going on second and fourth. Started to see. I used to be an usher before I started playing the keys at church. I was on the usher board, ushering on the door. I used to love to be an usher. But then they made me choose between being an usher and full-timing on the piano. And they wasn't paying me nothing. Y'all know the truth. Y'all don't act like it was about money, because I'm talking about family church. Oh boy, God gonna bless you. That's all you heard. Or give them a $20 bill every now and again. Then give them something to buy them a sandwich with. It wasn't no money. And I still stayed motivated. And I got a lot of training because, see, back then, you had to play for more than one choir. We had the mass choir. We had the children's choir. We even had a singles choir, all single people. We had the young adult. We had the male chorus. We had a senior saint choir. We had a choir for everything. We had about 5 different choirs, and I played for every last one of them. We played at the funerals. We played when we go out, 3:30 service. We had musicals. We had all this stuff. I got a lot of training in that. And that's why to this day I know what to do and I know what not to do. And when I was coming up, you had some cold-blooded, hurt your feeling directors. They didn't care how you felt. They would call you out and, hey, and you show up enough late if you want to. You had to be on time. You had to be out with some teaching. We had mission on Saturday. We had Sunday school. We had BTU, which stands for Bible Training Union. We was off into all that. They wasn't going to let you just be on the keys. Somebody catch that later on right now. There's a lot of musicians that play, but they ain't off into no studying. It ain't talking about you got to be just all over there and every Sunday, this and that. But my question is, do you know how to minister before you call yourself a minister of music? Do you know what the ministering is all about? But when you got somebody that believe in you and they see what others can't, you will forever remember that person. And I say that I told my Uncle Jerry, even in his dying moments, I said, he just went out of here so fast, man, in 2012. I knew he was slipping away because he didn't even remember who I was no more. And that hurt. He started calling me his brother Jimmy. He would say, Jimmy? And I would say, no, Unc, it's me. It's Ro. It's me, your nephew. Oh. And then he started calling for his mama. I'm coming home, mama. And he went home. And it's like those moments, even in those moments, he still had a smile on his face. Uncle Jerry was always a smiling man. And I'll never forget that smile, and I'll never forget how many times Uncle let me in that church day after day, night after night. I called that number. If I couldn't get him on the phone, I'd go down there and knock on the door. I know you're in there, Unc. and Unc had them women, man. Unc had them women. But he would play that bass. This man used to play with James Brown. He used to play with Aretha Franklin. Unc done had his share of being out there and playing with some famous people. But he took a toll on them drugs. And that's what destroyed him. He'll tell you, well, he can't tell you now, but back then he would tell you, I need to leave these drugs alone. I need to leave that dope alone. But even with that, I learned using Unc as an example of what to do and what not to do. But I'll never forget him, and I love him forever for what he's done for me with that, letting me in that church, keeping me out them streets. Because I could have easily said, Unc, let me ride with you. Let me hit a few corners with you. And he probably would have slapped me in my face. He said, boy, you know, Jewel will kick me and your butt. But that's the type of uncle he was. He was a loving uncle. He was a cool uncle with issues. But the church, the building, I know y'all heard me talk about the building a lot. That's why I always talk about the good and the bad, because it helped save me from a lot of things. I got all my upbringing and training. Man, we was coming up, and you had some of the coldest musicians come out of North Park Missionary Baptist Church. Shout out to every last one that came out of there. I used to always look up to my cousin. He's dead and gone, Greg Metcalf. Greg Metcalf, Michael Thompson. Man, my boy, like I say, Greg. You know, Elton died on bass. I mean, a lot of people come out of the old North Park. You know, Deontay Johnson. I mean, I can sit up here and name you quite a few people. Some of y'all may say, I don't know who it is, but I know who it is. But we all used to play together. Jason. I mean, the younger generation. It was some bad boys come up out of them, man. You know, I can go back to, I remember when the church was on Kenwell. That was a long time ago. When the church was on Kenwell, then they moved on Roper. And if I'm not mistaken, Mama JT correct me, we had church at KB Polk Elementary School until they got through with the 6927 Roper Street building. You know, and them just memories I'm thinking about. But yes, that one person, it may be one more than one that believe in you. When they believe in you and see what others can't see in you, that be the Most High showing them something. Even if they is messed up in their mind a lot of times, the Most High will use so many people that we think he won't use. I don't know about that person right there. Well, he does. And as long as the message get across. I remember my uncle stood up for me in that church when they told me, man, that I wasn't when I left, they got a little mad at me. The uncle who was the pastor at the time, he probably don't even remember now. He's 80-something years old, but he said, let him go on to the other church. And they started talking amongst themselves, and it was another young brother by the name of Deontay, and they started saying, Jimmy started saying D is a better organ player than me, and when I ain't on the organ, I want Deontay on the organ, and D wound up leaving too. Me and D left. That was the best thing we ever done, just to be honest. He's pastoring now, but man, it wasn't no competition with me and Deontay. We would learn from each other. You know, I'm a little bit older than D, but D not too much younger than me, but we would learn from each other and say, bro, this ain't no competition. But I come from a family on my daddy's side, they'd be in competition with each other, whether you talking about music or dominoes. And I had to make sure I didn't have that competitive spirit in me, because I ain't never been the musician that want to compete with somebody. I don't care how good somebody can play. I'm not intimidated by no musician, because I'm blessed to do what the Most High blessed me to do. That's why I don't compete. Now, when we was coming up, before I was a piano player, I was a drummer. Now I would talk noise to my boys Derek and Fink, and it's a brother by the name of Terrence, man, that we used to talk noise with each other, man, and just playing around. And we would go over to Dennis Ford house, you know, sit the drums outside or inside, man. We had fun growing up with that music, man, you know. So I just want to take time out to just respond back like this. It was also my Uncle Jerry Thompson that believed in me. And they would say, oh, he don't know what he talking about, man. That man be on them drugs, and all he knew what he was talking about. And he knew. And it wasn't just because I was his nephew. He believed in so many of us, man, and talked to us and spent a little time with us. But he had something that he loved more. It was them drugs at the time. He loved his bass. He loved his music too, but he loved drugs also. And you can't serve two masters. I used to pray with him and tell. I remember the last time we got a rehab, I said, you can't do it on your own. You can beat this. You can beat this. And he said, I got to. And I am. But, you know, he wound up passing away in 2012, you know. So that was one I always say. That was one of my, I have to say, that's one of my favorite uncles, man. I have to be real, because that uncle right there spoke in my life. So on that note, y'all have a wonderful, blessed day. Shalom, family.